This video is made for us to continue our practice with finding perimeter of compound shapes. In fact, if you feel confident, it's okay if you pause this video and complete the problem on the right all by yourself. If not, then we will continue the conversation. So in order for us to find perimeter of a compound shape, we have to remember not to use any existing formulas of shapes that we know. In fact, we have to look at every length that we walk by and add them together. So if I were walking around this shape, it would be 9 steps in one direction and 9 steps along the lines segment opposite to 9. I know it will be the same measure because of these right angles. The only few things that I will have to figure out is the length of this segment and the length of a segment on the other side. Now you have to remember that broken line is not actually a physical part of your shape. It's just a component that we call auxiliary line that helps us find missing information. We have to follow the solid line, which is this one. And these two yellow lines are the measurements that I do not know. So just like in the previous examples, I will ask you to analyze this diagram to find missing information. To guide you, I will ask you, what are the two shapes that I use to compose the given figure? Your answer should not be circle and square. Why? Because to say that it's a square, you need to make sure that these two sides are the same measurement as the third side, and then consequently the same measure as diameter of what you call a circle. But let's focus on these parts more precisely. If this measure is 4, remember, that is a radius. That means that this radius is also 4, and this radius is also 4. Together, these two radii indicate that the width of this portion would be 8 units. We don't really walk around this line, remember. But number 8 is an important piece of information because it's exactly what's missing on the opposite side. So now I just identified that this value would be 8. So how do I know the length of the yellow curve, the length of my semicircle? Well, that's easy because there is a formula of a semicircle, and the formula states that the length of half of a circle would be circumference divided by 2. So let's put this information in our diagram. Now we know exact value for this part of the diagram. So everything in green is what we would be walking around while counting the measures of each of those 4 lengths. So now we are ready to summarize how to find the perimeter. We will be adding the sides 9 and 8, the other 9 on the bottom, and half of the circumference. Of course, we have to unpack this formula and simplify this expression of 3 terms, which will produce 26. Circumference is still divided by 2, but we will say that C is the same as a product of pi and D. Good thing that we remember writing our radius and diameter anytime we work with circles and semicircles right next to our diagram. This will allow us to avoid errors while we substitute the values. So I continue with 26 plus fraction over 2 with the numerator pi times 8. And now I will ask you to simplify this expression and leave it in terms of pi. Your answer should be 26 plus 4 pi, and that is our final result. Let's just make sure that, as always, we mention that it's in units to the first power. That's all.